It is very, very important for you to check your mental health state. Every one of us will suffer from mental health issues, but we don't know. You try to cover your mental health conditions, not knowing that it is overwhelming you. It is very, very important for you to always check your mental state. What is this mental state? A mental state examination is a structured assessment of a person's current mental state and functioning. This mental state examination is just to provide a snapshot of your individual mental health functioning. It is very, very important for you to know your mental state. Mental health is a respecter of no one. No matter who you are, when mental health disorder hits you, it hits very, very hard. This will be a series, and I'll be telling you different types of mental health disorders. These are the key components of mental state examination: your appearance and behavior, your speech, your mood and effect, your thought process, your perception, your insight into what is happening to you, your judgment of things. These are what the professional will identify. They will identify and describe it. They will be asking you questions to track the damages in your mental state. It is very, very important that you let yourself out. When it comes to your appearance, the professional will be observing your clothing, your hygiene, your posture, and your physical examination. They will be looking at your eye contact. They will also be looking at your motor activities, your agitations, your restlessness, and your retardations. Also, when it comes to speech, they will also be looking at the rate at which you speak: slow, normal, and pressured. Also, they will also be looking at the volume, how loud you are, how normal you speak, and how soft you speak. They'll be looking at the tone as well, how monotone or how varied your tones are. They'll be looking at the content of what you say, your coherence, your logical flow of ideas, content as well. They'll be looking at the coherence, the logical flow of ideas. And when it comes to mood and effect, they'll be looking at your moods, the individual's subjective report of emotional state. If they are anxious, if they are sad, or if they are okay. They'll be looking at the effect. Observe the emotional expressions. They'll be looking at if you are flat in mood, and if you are flaunted, or if you are reactive. They'll be looking at your thought process, how flows your thought process are. They'll be looking at the flow and coherence of your thought. They'll be looking at the types, the logical, if they are logical, if they are disorganized, if they are flight of ideas. They'll be looking at the content of these ideas as well. They'll be looking at the themes. They'll be looking at if you're being preoccupied or you're overthinking. They'll also be looking at your delusions or obsessions. They'll be looking at your phobias. They'll be looking at if you have suicidal thoughts. They'll be looking at the perception. When it comes to perception or abnormalities in your sensory perceptions, they'll also be looking at the hallucinations and the illusions. When it comes to cognitions, they will also be looking at assessment of your orientations, attention, concentration, and memory, and intellectual functionings. Your insight as well. Despite all these things, how insightful are you in your mental health state? Are you aware of what is happening to you? Are you aware of what mental state is? These are some of the things they'll be putting into considerations in order to give your mental state examination. So it is very, very important for you to know your mental health state. At every point in time in our lives, we suffer from mental health. A mental health disorder is a sickness that knows who you are. It does not respect anyone. It happens to a doctor, it happens to a reverend father, it happens to a reverend sister, it happens to mom, it happens to dad, it happens to brother, it happens to uncle, it happens to the president. It happens to everyone, irrespective of your economic or financial background. It happens to everyone. Please know your mental state.